Last time we talked about students being stuck. This time we're talking about them being straight up lost. And it's not because your activities are bad or your content is bad. It's because they can't see how the pieces fit together. I'm Dr. Katrina Mitchum, and I have been designing and redesigning courses online since 2009. Okay, so we're going to talk about the connection problem. So for you, Module 2 obviously leads into Module 3 because you know what the steps are. You're the expert in this thing. To them, Module 2 ends, Module 3 starts, and they have no idea why. The logic that connects those modules lives in your head and not in the course. And this is where things start to break down. This is where they're not necessarily stuck, but they're a little bit lost because without seeing how the pieces connect, not only can it feel like busy work, but it also feels like they don't have a direction. And so your job is to give them a direction by making those connections really clear and explicit. So I have talked before about how your expert brain already connects the dots and you're able to see the bigger picture of how those things fit together. And so when you move from topic to topic or step to step, that transition of how you're getting from point A to point A.1 to point A.2, those things are clear to you. They make sense. But when students see those pieces in isolation, that bridge isn't necessarily clear. They don't have the mental map that you do to know how it connects and how it's going to get to that goal and how it kind of all works together. And so your job is to help them create that mental map. So to do that, we have to look for the missing connections. So for clients, that might look like, why are we doing this activity? What is it for? How does this relate to what we just learned? Why am I writing in a journal when I'm supposed to be learning how to dance? When am I supposed to use this? So they're completing modules maybe, but they don't know how to apply it. They can't remember what they learned and why it matters. And the course feels like a random collection of information and not a coherent journey or experience. Okay, so those connections are important and kind of get lost in a few different places. It's first between modules, right? So between module 1, there's no bridge to module 2. Students don't know why this next topic matters. They also can get lost between content and activities. So you might explain a concept and then assign an activity, but you didn't explain how the content helps them do the activity and how the activity is going to help them solidify the content. Right? That connection isn't made. You don't want to assume it's obvious. Connections also get lost between activities across modules, right? So if you've scaffolded or built the steps out to your course well, then all of the activities that they're doing are going to build on each other. So if they did an exercise in module 1 and they're doing another one in module 3, how are those things connecting? How are they building on each other? How is module 3 also going to lead to the activity in module 4? And the last place the connection gets lost is the overall journey, right? So sometimes the through line gets lost. Always reminding, like, what is the goal? Why are we doing this? How does each piece get you closer to the transformation? Okay, so we know how those connections and kind of where those connections get lost. So how do we add them without having to re-record every single thing in your course? So you can add transitions, either with a video or text or even audio between modules. So something like, in the last module, you learned W and you did X with it. Now we're going to build on that by learning Y and doing Z because, and then how it's going to help them reach the bigger goal, right? You could start each activity with context. That tends to be what I like to do. You're going to do this activity, so you can insert specific outcome. This builds on, list the previous work, and prepares you for, and then state what's next, right? That's a simple sentence starter for that kind of connection. You can also end modules with forward-looking statements. So not just looking back, but also looking forward. You just did this, it gives you a foundation for that, and now that's what we're going to tackle next. You can also create a visual roadmap so that they have a reference of where things are and how they connect. So, what is the cost of these missing connections? You'll see students maybe completing modules, but not actually getting results. They can't apply what they've learned, or they feel like they're just going through the motions. I have had courses where I literally sat down and watched all the videos because I didn't know what the connection between the things was. You don't want them to do that, because if they're not actually applying it, they're not going to get the results that they came for. You might see drops in engagement, right? They can lose sight of the progress that they're making when how that progress builds on itself isn't clear. And that's what connections do. And we might see a decrease in motivation, right? Things might feel like busy work. They're not seeing the direct relation between what you're trying to have them do and the actual results that they're looking for. People buy courses because they want to change something. And if you're not helping them get that change, then you're going to lose them. If you think your course might have connection gaps, I have a course fixer checklist, and that is one of the areas that it will help you look for. The link is in the description and it is free.